Hello and a warm welcome to Sarat Chandra IAS Academy, where your dreams are our mission. This is Yatharth here. In today's lecture, we'll be dealing with current affairs, focusing more on mapping portion as well as environment. So let's begin with the first news. That is, after Bihar, Andhra Pradesh government begins a 10-day long caste census. So we have already talked a lot about caste census when it was first in news relating to Bihar. So in this context, many things are very important, especially the OBC group and judgments related to this. Judgments as well as various committees. A question can also come that is it a political move? Alright, so as per your state, you can focus on this news and search for various different aspects. So let's see the news. Andhra Pradesh government has started a 10-day long survey of caste census aimed at creating a comprehensive caste-based database of people. Andhra Pradesh becomes the second state after Bihar to do so. During the caste survey, volunteers will visit every home to collect the caste details. You can also read a lot about what is caste and what is class. This is a topic in anthropology optional. So you can read about what is caste, what is the basis of caste in Hindu caste system, and especially what is the future of the caste system in context of origin of the class system. Alright, so as many as 726 castes and communities have been listed in mobile application, aiming to conduct the caste census in a fair and comprehensive manner. The southern state wants to project its enumeration exercise as a role model across the country. So through the caste census were initially announced to cover only 139 backward classes communities. Its scope now includes all castes in Andhra Pradesh. So one more important thing we can see from here is to see the map of Andhra Pradesh. The most important portion here is which states border Andhra Pradesh and where. So you can see the first state here, Odisha, which borders Andhra Pradesh towards the north. So Andhra Pradesh is like this. Here you can see it. Sort of a right angle triangle if you see. So Odisha we can see here in the northern side. Alright, then we do see a boundary with Chhattisgarh as well here. So we see a third and a very long boundary with Telangana state, which previously bifurcated from Andhra Pradesh. And there's Karnataka as well here towards the south. Further down south, there's a boundary with Tamil Nadu here you can see. Alright, so how many states are there? One is Odisha. Then there's a little boundary of Chhattisgarh as well, followed by Telangana. Then Karnataka. And finally with Tamil Nadu. And on its eastern bank, it is completely exposed to the Bay of Bengal. However, please remember that Andhra Pradesh does not have the longest coastal boundary in India. It's by Gujarat. Alright, let's come to the next news, which is warmer winters impact ice hockey, chadar track in country's coldest region in Ladakh. So what can come in prelims from here? A direct question can come that chadar track is located in which part of the country? So there are pretty snowy areas in country except Ladakh also. Alright, so you may get confused. So please remember this chadar track is in Ladakh, and let us see which geological or geographic formation makes this track. So unusually warmer weather this winter have even impacted the extreme winter sports like ice hockey and 105-kilometer chadar track. Chadar means a blanket sort of thing. So in the cold desert mountains of Ladakh, where minimum temperature drops to minus 40 degrees Celsius and is considered the country's coldest place. Ice hockey require around minus 4 degrees Celsius to provide a favorable environment. However, days have been warmer and brighter in this season in Ladakh's Kargil. The impact of unusual weather was also visible on the 105-kilometer chadar track this year, where trackers across the globe track over the frozen Zaskar River. So if you remember very well, recently we have just covered the Himalayan mountain region. And in Himalayan mountain, if you remember, we read about the Zaskar range, the Zaskar, the Pir Panjal range. Alright, the Ladakh range. There are multiple ranges, the Hindu Kush range here. And up towards the north, there is Karakoram range, this Ladakh range here, then Zaskar range here, Pir Panjal range here, Thoradar range and all. Alright, so it's on the Zaskar river. So let us see in the map where does this river fall, in which area and region. Just a second. So you can see the Shok river here. the Gilgit region here and river here. Alright, so we come towards this area. So in this area, we see there is the Karakoram Valley, the Nubra River, etc., the Shok and the Nubra River in the Ladakh region and Karakoram Valley. Okay, let us see about the Zaskar River. So Zaskar River is here, this side, and this is the Zaskar Valley or the Zaskar Range. Alright, so this is the Zaskar River which gets frozen, and on this frozen Zaskar River there is Chadar track. You can see here also this is Dras falling in the Zaskar range. So Dras is it's a sort of desert region, a cold desert. It is the second coldest place in the world. We'll also see what is the first coldest place. So there are multiple rivers here. You can see the Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Satluj and the Beas river. Alright, so these complete the Indus river system here, which falls finally into the Arabian Sea. Alright, this is a picture of the Chadar track. The Chadar track is one of the extreme sports in the country. It's actually a place where extreme sports take place in the country and held only when temperature drops minus 30 to 35 degrees Celsius. So, however, the minimum temperature has been hovering around minus 8 degrees Celsius in Leh in January and the maximum around 4 degrees Celsius. So, there's basically an effect of climate change. So, what we think usually is that climate change often results into disasters like flooding and all, but it also relatively have an effect on multiple recreational activities. So this can also be cited as an example that ice hockey could not be played in India on the Chadar track because of effects of global warming in the Ladakh region. Alright, what is to be noted here is that Ladakh is home to the second coldest place in the world, Dras, where temperature could even dip below minus 50 degrees Celsius. It must also be remembered there are multiple places in India where there is unruly weather in this season, especially in the southern states. In the state of Tamil Nadu and Ooty, there was very low temperatures recorded this season. Alright, so you can cite those as an example as well. Let's talk about the third news, which is Rahul Gandhi visits 350-year-old Vaishnavite monastery in Assam's Majuli Island. So this is important for us. What is Majuli Island? Alright, what is Vaishnavism and which monastery did he visit? So Rahul Gandhi sought blessings at Sri Sri Onati Sastra. This is important. A more 350-year-old Vaishnavite monastery in Assam's Majuli district. So what is this Majuli district and Majuli Island? Alright, this is important for us. So Sri Sri Onati Satra were established in 1663 in Majuli. It is a very, very important part of our country's wonderfully diverse culture and religious history. Lord Krishna is worshipped as Govinda. So these points may look, let's say, frivolous, but they are completely important. So with the original idol having brought from the Lord Jagannath temple at Puri in Odisha. So a part of the idol or the original idol was brought from the Odisha and then is being worshipped here in Assam. Alright, similar places of worship of this Sampradaya exist in Nathdwara. Nathdwara is a very famous place, Dwarka and Manipur. Dwarka is in Gujarat. The largest inhabited river island of the world, Majuli is renowned as the site of Vaishnavite learning. So please remember this fact about this Majuli island. It is the largest inhabited river island in the world. Okay, here you in the Indian map you can see the Assam. You can also tell me in the comment section which mountain ranges did we study in Assam. You may be remembering when we talked about the eastern Himalayan ranges last time. Then we read multiple hills here. The Patkai was here in the north of the Arunachal Pradesh. Then there were multiple hills in the Arunachal Pradesh. Mikir Hills is in Assam here. And Mishmi Hills, Abor Hills, Dafra Hills, Miri Hills, Lushai Hills are here. Alright, so all of the hills you must consider. Garo Khasi Jayantia Hills here in the Meghalayan region. This is the Majuli Island, which we are talking about. So it's located in between a river. Alright, so please, the main river is the Brahmaputra river, which is flowing in the east. This is the Subansari river. Subansari is a valley region also, and multiple tribal people live here. So this is why it's very important. Now we move on to the Majuli Island. Majuli Island is the largest inhabited river island in the world. And it's the center of the Vaishnavite learning. Alright, let's move forward and see about the Vaishnavism in short. So early form of Vaishnavism mean worship of Vishnu. So in the South India there were major factions related to Vishnu versus Shiva. Alright, so Vaishnavism early blossomed into the South India, which movements like Pancharatra emphasizing temple worship and rituals dedicated to Vishnu, and his incarnations like Rama and Krishna. The medieval era saw a surge in bhakti movement, so that was the time when it came to, let's say, North India, fueled by Vaishnavi saints like Ramanuj, Madhava, and Ramananda. These reformers challenged the rigid caste hierarchies and emphasized personal devotion as the path to salvation. Ramanuja's Vishishtadvaitavad philosophy enshrined Vishnu as the supreme reality, while Madhava's Dvait philosophy emphasized distinctness between soul and the God. So these are part of the philosophical culture of India. You can read about them. The Dvaitvad, dualism, and the special dualism, non-dualism, etc. Alright, Sankaracharya proposed the non-dualism also. So Ramananda's Rama-centric movement spread across northern India, inspiring poets like Tulsidas. Tulsidas, very famous poet, who immortalized Rama's story in the Ramcharitra Manas. Alright, let's move forward. The news is about how do you plan to save the Great Indian Bustard? Supreme Court asks government. So, Great Indian Bustard is very, very important here. We must see especially the conservative status of this bird. And what is it, where does it live, the habitat, and other things. The Supreme Court directed the centre to come clean on its plan to save the critically endangered Great Indian Bustard by February. So please just remember that it is critically endangered, and what's more important here is to remember what criteria satisfies this category, critically endangered. That means what percent or number of individuals of any species must be left, so in order to declare it critically endangered. So that is for you to read. Please read it and mention in the comment section. A 3-judge benches headed by Chief Justice of India, D.Y. Chanchur, said the government had to come out with a plan which would save the bird species from the extinction, largely due to collision with high transmission power lines situated in areas in Gujarat and Rajasthan, which also happen to be the natural habitat of the bustards. So what is the relation between this bird species and the cables? Basically, these species do not have very good eyesight, and they live in regions where the sunlight is always very, very high. Alright, so this is the reason they get electrocuted by striking this cables. The court said the government's plan ought to mean, ought means should, basically. Ought comes something in between should and must. Maintain a balance between the preservation of the bird species and India's global commitments to shed its carbon footprints and embrace alternative forms of energy such as solar power. So let's see a picture of this Great Indian Bustard. There are multiple bustard. Bustard is a common name for birds. And there are multiple species of bustards. At least 2 or 3 are found in India. So the Great Indian Bustard, or GIB, it is found in Rajasthan and Gujarat. It is also national birds of multiple nations. Dubai and Saudi Arabia has many GIB also. Alright, so it's not in basically a bird only restricted to the India. So GIB, let's say biodata. The scientific name is Ardiotis nigriceps. Habitat is dry grassland in scrublands in the Indian subcontinent. Largest populations found in Rajasthan. And description, it's largest flying bird in India. That is so special about it. It's standing up to 1.2 meters tall and weighing up to 15 kg. Males are slightly larger than females, which distinctive black head and neck, while neckband and buff body. Females have brown head. Its diet is omnivorous. We see the breeding pattern. Monogamous bird breeds during monsoon season, and female lays a single olive colored egg on the ground, so it has a special looking egg. The conservation status is most important of this, critically endangered as the IUCN Red List. It's also listed under the Schedule 1 of the Indian Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. So there was a project Great Indian Bustard which was launched by the Rajasthan government for conservation efforts. Alright, let's see the next news, which is scientists mapped the largest deep sea coral reef ever discovered. So we need to see what is this coral reef and where it has been found. So it has been found stretching hundreds of miles off the US Atlantic coast. This is important. US has 2 coasts. One is the Atlantic coast, one is the Pacific coast. So this is about the Atlantic coast towards the eastern side. While researchers have known since 1960s that some corals were present off the Atlantic, the reef size remained a mystery until new underwater mapping technology made it possible to construct 3D images of the ocean floor. So the reef was found at depth ranging from 200 meters to 1000 meters. So when we are talking about these sort of depth, it is very essential that sunlight does not reach an adequate amount to these depth, and they have various different modes for their nutrition gaining these reefs. There is one Great Barrier Reef also. It is located across the coast of Australia. So sunlight does not penetrate, unlike tropical coral reefs where photosynthesis is important for growth. Coral this far down must filter food particles out of the water for energy. So this can become a statement in the exam that corals or non-tropical corals, let's say, use filter food particle method of nutrition gaining. So deep coral reefs provide habitat for sharks, swordfish, sea stars, and multiple it's basically an ecosystem in itself. Tropical reefs are better known to scientists and snorkels because they are more accessible. The world's largest tropical coral reef system, that is the Great Barrier Reef, is located in Australia. So it's stretched up to 2,000 kilometers. It's possible that largest deep sea reefs will be discovered in the future, since only 25% of the world's oceans so far have been mapped in high resolution. And deep reefs cover more of the ocean floor than tropical reefs. Both kind of habitat are susceptible to similar risk. So the risks are very important here, including climate change and disturbance from oil and gas drilling. So what happens when they are exposed to risks? There is a reef stress, let's say. So reef goes through some stress and it ultimately dies basically. Okay, next news, let's move on to. This is the Kaziranga National Park, which is important to us. So poachers kill rhino in Kaziranga. Let's see about the Kaziranga National Park. There are multiple national parks here, which is Manas, Orang, Nameri, Kaziranga, and Dibru, Shaikova. At the same place, we see the Majuli Island also. Alright, because the Brahmaputra river is going across this region. It's coming from here, then moves like this and finally goes to the Bangladesh. Which river? Brahmaputra river. So we'll be talking about Brahmaputra river as well in our geography series, which we'll upload very soon. Let's talk about the rhinoceros. So rhinoceros, scientific name is Rhinoceros unicornis. That means it has a single horn to its head. Its class is Mammalia, and tall grasslands and alluvial footprints in northeastern India and Nepal are the main habitat. It's otherwise found in Africa largely, in the Serengeti National Park and other national parks. So second largest land mammal after the elephant and largest in Asia. There is also hippo to be considered. Hippo is also a big large mammal. Adults weigh up to 2500 kg and stand around 1.7 meter tall with a single prominent horn. So you can read about this. It's basically primarily herbivorous. Okay, and it is solitary animal except for mother and calves. Female are fiercely protective of their offsprings. Gestation period is 15 to 16 months. Earlier in prelims, gestation period of an elephant has been asked. So when we are talking about 16 months, it means more than a year. Alright, so please take care of this. Gestation is a lot, and a single calf is often born, initially weighing up to 60 kg and weaned at around 2 years. So please remember these facts. Its classification is vulnerable on the IUCN Red List. Please remember that GIB was critically endangered. It is vulnerable. And it's also listed under Schedule 1 of the Indian Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. So what is so special about the Kaziranga? It hosts the largest population of one-horned rhinos. So there are two horned rhinos also. Those look like this. Alright, and we are talking about the single horned rhino. So Kaziranga has the most population of this, 70%. And it is also a flagship species for grassland ecosystem, playing a crucial role in maintaining natural balance. You can also read about Kaziranga a bit. It was established in 1960 and it became a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1985. Alright, India and Nepal have collaborated on rhinoceros conservation through cross-border initiative. Please do not tick Bhutan here. We are talking about Assam and Nepal. Alright, not Bhutan, please remember, which is closer to Assam. The Indian Rhino Vision 2020 successfully exceeded its target to doubling the rhino population by 2020. Please remember Assam and Nepal, not Bhutan. Alright, it goes against common sense a bit, but it's what it is. Alright, let's see the next news. Odisha government seeks urgent deployment of Kumki elephants. So this term is important. What are Kumki elephants? Alright, so let's see this. And from the mapping portion, you can also see again the neighboring states. So when we talk about the Odisha, there are neighboring states like West Bengal, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh. Then there is Andhra Pradesh. Please remember that Odisha does not touch Telangana. Okay, so whenever you see a map, you please just remember how many states are touching each other. So confusion is cleared. And this is one of the ways you will remember that which states are close to each other. So Odisha has the longest boundary with which state? Chhattisgarh, alright. And then there is Andhra Pradesh in the south. In the north, there is Jharkhand as well as West Bengal sharing a very small boundary. Let's move further. We see the Tamil Nadu here. Tamil Nadu has boundary with Andhra Pradesh as we studied earlier, then forward to the Karnataka and Kerala. Kerala and Tamil Nadu are both in news because of the Idukki Dam issue. And the Mulla Periyar Dam issue. Please remember that there is a Periyar river flowing in the Kerala, on which this Mulla Periyar Dam is constructed, and this is the center of the issue between TN and Kerala. Alright, let's move further. Basically, what we need to know here is Kumki elephants. So, Kumki elephants can be strategically deployed to help us manage and drive wild elephant, thereby reducing damage to crop, human habitation, and potential loss. This Kumki elephant is a term used for India for trained captive Asian elephants. Alright, so basically, trained elephants are known as the Kumki elephants, and they are used in other operations, let's say regarding elephants. And this word is derived by Persian kumak. Kumak means to aid or help. In the final news for this lecture, we see this large iceberg. It's a completely beautiful piece of nature. When you see on the video, you can just go and search this A231 iceberg. Alright, and it's much bigger. The scale is not completely identifiable here, but it's kilometers long, about 20 by some 200 kilometer long. Alright, and it's completely beautiful piece of nature. So what's more important for us is the Weddell Sea. Alright, so please remember that Weddell Sea is near Antarctic, from where this iceberg has been broken off. From which ice shelf? Ron ice shelf, near the Weddell Sea. Alright, so please remember all these things. So A231 is the largest tabular iceberg that carved from the Filcher Ron ice shelf. Please remember this name of this ice shelf, Filcher or Filchner Ron ice shelf. And it went into the Weddell Sea, near the Antarctica. Okay, recently, what news did we have from Arctic regarding India? That we have a 365 days operational research center opened in the Arctic. We have multiple centers in Antarctic also, Bharati, Maitri, etc. One of them is completely down, so please remember the names of the other research stations. So it basically broke off in 1986, and it was then stuck on the seabed for many years, but it started moving in 2020. Its area is about 3,900 square kilometer, that is about 4,000 square kilometer. So that's a lot of area. Alright, and making it one of the largest icebergs in the world until it was temporarily surpassed by A76. So basically what happened, A76 broke off into two parts, and now A23A is the biggest iceberg in the world. So in November 2023, A23A was tracked moving past the northern tip of the Antarctic Peninsula and headed towards the Southern Ocean. So from the Weddell Sea, it's going towards the Southern Ocean. So you can watch this video also. Alright, so this was for today's lecture. You can see this diagram also. I'll put the PDF notes on the channel and Telegram channel as well. So this is all for today. Thank you very much. This is Yatharth here signing off. Have a good day and see you again.